War on Ukraine is seen as the first social media war, but we have a lot of questions about it. We want to bring back on John Spencer, who's the chair of urban warfare studies at the Modern War Institute at West Point. John, thank you for coming back on. I appreciate that. I've heard reports that Vladimir Putin is getting frustrated that the war is not going as well as he had hoped. Things aren't falling as quickly as he'd hoped. What are your thoughts as we're heading into week 2 here?
Yeah, absolutely. Clearly what Putin wanted his army to do, they couldn't do. They're falling apart logistically. The troops didn't know where they're going. Troops are surrendering, puncturing their own gas tanks. It's not going good for him, and I think that's they're the bad guys.
Can we talk a little bit about some of the families that are being affected there, and mothers of soldiers and families of these soldiers that are being left behind? What is the state of the situation for them at this point?
Yeah, so we know that the Russian soldiers, a big majority of them, you can't say all, are demoralized. I mean, some of these are 18-year-old kids who are forced into combat, didn't know where they were going. Soldiers don't fight for dictators. They fight for a cause, they fight for each other, and they fight for their families. So we know that the Ukrainians have set up hotlines so that the Russian mothers and families can call in and find out information about their sons. The idea that soldiers go off to war and don't have contact with their families who they care about is gone. I mean, I wrote a book about it with my own experiences. It strongly affects soldiers in war, and then it strongly affects their families. And there's a long history of Russian mothers actually halting wars.
Wow. All right. So about a minute left here. How do you see this playing out? I mean, if you've got all these problems, Vladimir Putin almost has total power, total control over his country, it seems like. How does this play out over the next 2 or 3 months if things keep going this way?
Yeah, so it's hard to make a prediction like that. I think he's purposely causing this humanitarian crisis, and we're going to see, we're over 1.5 million. We're going to see 3 million plus civilians being forced to evacuate. I think he's going to start bombing the cities and flatten them. Worst case scenario, he actually does what he wants and gets into Kyiv and takes over the government. He'll face the biggest urban insurgency that we've ever seen in history. We know the Ukrainians are going to fight. So this will probably turn into even worse than Afghanistan did for Russia or for the Soviet Union back in the day.
All right, John Spencer, live for us from West Point. Thank you so much for your time this morning and for your insight. We appreciate it.
Yeah, well, have you on again as this goes forward.
Insight.
You wonder what's going to happen now, right? Is he going to get more and more desperate and go after civilians? And once you start getting into a big city like that and you've got all these people, snipers at you,